It's a great Central North Island morning when we meet up with Dean, GoodYear Chandler, and his slick new Kenworth T610 SAR. The sun's just breaking through and there's fog around Lake Taupo and the Waikato River, so it's going to be a great day. Dean's arrived early this morning from the Hawke's Bay and had time to slip in a wash tech and give the rig a quick bath before meeting us at Stag Park, where he catches a bit of breakfast. When we say new Kenworth, it actually has over 36,000 Ks on the clock already. This was one of the standout trucks on the Southpack stand at the Expo in March and is arguably the first T610 sold in New Zealand, certainly the first SAR full sleeper model. We find it sitting in its glory in the Stag Park yard with its new Roadmaster 6-axle B-train loaded with bales of waste paper destined for the recycling plant in Auckland. We'll take over for the first stint of driving this morning up through the Kinley Forest and then out onto State Highway 27. In Waharoa, we'll give GoodYear his truck back. We pull out of Stag Park and straight off the mark it's easy to see this truck is putting out some serious torque as we slip up through the gears, driving in the green band of 1100 to 1600 RPM. The engine has been remapped to 615 horsepower and 2050 pounds-foot of torque, and it's certainly making easy work of moving this 50-tonne rig. It's great to get behind another manual box, and while Trevor's a fan of AMTs, he's always happy to keep his hand in on an 18-speed manual, and with Cummins X15 power, it's certainly no big effort. The clutch is nice and light, and the stick that runs straight through to the top of the box offers great feel while working through the gears. Out into the Taupo bypass road, we drop down towards the Waikato River, and Trevor uses just one stage of the engine brake to keep speed constant on the downhill, over the river and up to the Wairaki roundabout. Trev drops a few gears approaching the roundabout, but we've got a clear run, so he drops it down to 6th slot, the bottom of the top box, and we pull through the roundabout and immediately start picking up gears on the climb north. Then straight into roadworks. So it's down a few more gears, again to 30 k's an hour. It's a steady climb for the first part of the run, but we're soon sitting in top gear and cruising along at 90 k's an hour with time to take in our surroundings. And that the SAR is pretty similar to the Dines T610 we drove a couple of months ago. Like that model, this new SAR cab is wider and comes with a completely new dash and trim, but it's still traditional Kenworth with a nice wood grain dash, leather seats and roof linings, and clean, practical hard surfaces. It's quite dark in the cab with the large sleeper box behind, so there's no light coming in from the back, but it gives the impression of being very roomy and in no way claustrophobic. Directly in front of the driver are the main gauges for temp, air pressure and oil, along with a speedo and tacho, plus a digital info screen right in the middle of it. To the left is the services screen with radio, telephone and other accessories, along with all the various switches and controls. One disappointment is the positioning of the engine brake switch, which is down low on the dash to the left of the steering column and hidden from view behind the steering wheel, at least from Trevor's wheel position. This should ideally be on the steering column or wheel so the driver isn't taking their hands away from the wheel to turn it on or off. Forward vision is great with the T610's extra height and the bonnet sloping down nicely, not causing any loss of forward vision. The mirrors are well designed with a single housing incorporating the usual large mirror and a smaller convex mirror below, all sitting low enough for the driver to easily look over when watching for traffic come from the right side. There's certainly no major blind spot with this setup. The ride north through the Kinley Forest has its share of bumpy sections, but the truck feels nice and stable and there's no kickback through the steering when the front axle hits major bumps. In fact, the ride is very good, even while totally different to the European trucks we've driven lately. This has a bit more of a solid feel as opposed to the light, airy European feeling. Kenworth drivers will understand that. It positions on the road well, and the Roadmaster B-train tracks nicely on its ROR CS9 low-mount suspension and disc-braked axles. No matter how bumpy the road gets, we hold a steady line through the worst of it. Noise levels in the cab are a bit higher than in the latest Euros, but are still totally acceptable, with easy communication and conversation across the cab. On the many downhill runs, the engine brake on full power holds us steady in top gear with just the occasional touch on the brake pedal to settle the speed. Up Tar Hill, it's only a split from top gear, and we come over the crest at 1000 RPM, holding nicely, then quickly picking up as the hill levels out. All too soon we're in Waharoa, where we have to give Deanie's truck back. This truck not only looks the part on the road, it delivers in terms of performance as well. It's hard to complain about the Cummins X15 engine, and it's great to get hold of a manual gear stick again and really be able to make the engine work the way you want it to. Driving this truck all day long in the green band is easy, and it should be delivering great fuel economy along the way. With a sleeper box like this one, GoodYear has his home on wheels, so accommodation is another saving with this unit. With its very comfortable bed, TV and fridge, there's not much more a driver needs on nights away.